Excited to have everybody here. Ray stepped up again and agreed to do the first presentation on social and mobile commerce. Let's put together a presentation that we'll walk through. This is definitely Q&A all the way through, so if people have any questions or ideas or other experiences, we want everybody to collaborate as much as possible on this. And then I also, before anybody drops off or anything happens, want Ashley to give kind of the next either proposed date and or content for the next presentation that's going to occur, so we can get the word out and continue to grow this council and get as much information out to the membership as we can. Do we know our next date, Ashley?
I was thinking either the week of November 17th or the second week of December. I didn't want to hit any of the major holidays or big travel times, and I didn't know which one would work better for everybody here.
Does second week of December sound good for everyone? Middle of the week?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we'll plan on December 10th, and we'll be doing optimization, right, Kelly?
Yeah, I think that was the next one on the list. And then maybe at the start of the next one, we'll talk about the follow-on meetings, what we want the content to be. But right. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on logistics on this. I want to jump into the presentation as quickly as possible so people can ask questions and we can get the dialogue going back and forth.
Kelly, this is Chaz. How would you like us to ask questions so that we're not all jumping in and disrupting Ray? There's a chat function here. You want us to feed that to whoever the moderator is, and then they can answer it?
Nice. You got a chat function on yours?
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, inside the dialogue. Yeah, that sounds good. And maybe during the presentation at appropriate times, just if you stop after every couple slides or something and say, are there any questions, that would help it too.
This is Ray. You're more than welcome to just input a question during the presentation, and I'll go ahead and answer it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, once we grow to like 50 people on the line on these things, until then we can probably just interrupt.
Okay.
All right, have at it, Ray.
Sounds good. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ray Pacinley. I'm one of the executives here at Total Apps. We are a ERA member for the last several years, and just kind of wanted to give you a brief overview. We are in the payment space ourselves. Been doing this literally since I quit my job as a rocket scientist, so to speak, and our focus has always been the e-commerce and the emerging markets and the trends that are happening. And the irony is that today we look at the ecosystem and as compared to the dot-bomb era, we see that this is truly the next paradigm shift. If you look back at the dot-bomb era, where the theory was build it and they will come, they didn't have all the infrastructure. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't have 4G. We didn't have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC, high-speed internet connectivity, social media. So these foundational pieces couldn't really drive sales and drive growth explosively. And in today's day and market, that's really, if you look at it in that context, you see that today's opportunity is substantially better. So what are we really going to talk about? I like to prognosticate a lot. I look into the future a lot. And it seems that the obvious step is Web 3.0. We've had Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. But what does that Web 3.0 experience look like? Well, looking at the past, Web 1.0 was defined by static content. Webmasters, merchants, advertisers would create a website. It was not edited every single day or modified on a regular basis, and that adage of build it and they will come kind of defined the years from 1994 until about early 2004. In 2004, we had a massive paradigm shift, and it started off with MySpace, Friendster, and ultimately Facebook. And that really was the dawn of the Web 2.0 or social media decade, and where instead of having static content, you had user-generated content. Pin it, share it, post it, like it, upload it, videos, pictures. 9 out of 10 products listed online now happen to be cat stories or something like that. but it was really about involving the consumers and enabling them to input their thoughts and ideas into what was the evolving nature of the web. So we've now gone through a 10-year decade of the Web 2.0 social media, and it seems logical that the next iteration, or the Web 3.0 experience, is going to be a convergence. It's going to be the convergence of traditional Web 1.0 commerce combined with social media to give us a new paradigm called social commerce. And you can see this today every single day when you go on the web. As an example, if you buy something from Newegg or eBay or Amazon, all of the sellers have been given some sort of feedback or rating. We make our purchasing decisions not solely based on the lowest price possible. If I'm trying to buy a new iPhone 6 case and I see a vendor on Amazon selling it for 3 cents cheaper, but he has 0 rating or 0 feedback, I'm most likely going to be willing to pay the 3 cents extra to go with a 5-star seller that has a higher priced product. As another example, and this is the one that really kind of was an aha moment for me. So when the Lakers play, I like to go buy my tickets through Ticketmaster and look and see which seats I want to buy and how close to the court I can get. And about a year ago, I noticed something that was really mind-blowing. When I logged into to look at the seating chart, I saw a bunch of Facebook icons throughout the arena, and when I would mouse over one of those icons, I could see which one of my friends were physically going to be sitting at that game. So not only am I going to be looking based on price and location, but now I can actually purchase my ticket to the game based on where my friends are sitting. And that is really, truly a social commerce type experience, because what's happening is that our consumers, specifically the millennials, are becoming more of a consumption herd, meaning that they make buying decisions as a group. If one person likes it, they'll share it with their friends on social media, and then their friends in their circle will buy that product. So it really becomes a viral word of mouth marketing opportunity for us in the DR space. So how does this look like? Well, we're really seeing that the social media companies are trying to somehow incorporate this social commerce into their platforms. In my humble opinion, I think that Facebook could be a killer application in terms of putting Craigslist out of business. You know, instead of me going and putting some text and throwing up some images, imagine if Facebook allowed me to post my used bicycle and say, hey, you know, who wants my bicycle for $25, and allow that transaction to happen seamlessly and securely. Predominantly, you know, the heavy hitters in the industry obviously are Facebook with 1.2 million users, Twitter with 600 million. That number is kind of arbitrary based on actual fake accounts versus user accounts. But we know both of these enterprises are aggressively pursuing some sort of commerce engine to incorporate that social commerce experience into that user interface. So what are we seeing? Well, we've been studying Twitter for quite a while now, and some of the recent trends that they did is they did an exclusive deal with American Express. So if your cardholders, if your consumers are American Express cardholders, they will be able to transact within Twitter by tweeting a pair of unique hashtags that will trigger a transaction on your American Express. This is brilliant. The problem is that of the 3 major card brands, American Express is the smallest, and they have the least amount of cardholders. So what do you do if you have a millennial who has a prepaid debit card? Twitter has also done an interesting integration with Amazon Cart. If you see a product and it's got a pair of hashtags, you have the ability to tweet those hashtags, and if you've gone through the process of linking your Amazon account to your Twitter account, it will actually add that product into your cart. So the next time you log into Amazon, you can go, oh yeah, I did need the George Foreman grill. So it's a way to enable social commerce to drive sales outside of the Twitterverse. But we think that there's a simpler, more elegant option available. There are a number of dynamic companies out there that are doing this. Ultimately, Twitter is not an e-commerce company. They're a social media company. So these guys have pretty steep learning curves. Recently, they announced that they're going to be doing a buy button within their Twitter feed. So if you see an advertisement, you can see typically Groupon type offers, get a half-price pizza today, buy one, get one free, where the consumer can then click the transaction or click to buy and initiate a transaction. But based on the architecture that we've had a chance to review with Twitter, it's a traditional Web 1.0 experience. The consumer will leave the Twitter app. They'll open up a browser. They'll have to input name, address, phone number, credit card, CVV, expiration, email, phone. And it's a very, very clunky checkout process, which is what you would experience in the 1990s. More importantly, consumers that use their smartphones to shop want simplicity and they want convenience. If you do not have that, your conversion ratio is going to dramatically drop. To kind of put it in statistical comparison, if I have a website and I have a consumer that comes to my website and they go through the add to cart and they get all the way to the checkout page, I will incur a 50% abandonment rate, meaning that half of the people that get to the final step will abandon the shopping cart if you're optimized. If you're not optimized, the number could be even higher. You take that same transaction and you put it into a mobile environment where it's not optimized, where you're having to manually fat finger a 16-digit credit card, that abandonment rate skyrockets from 50% to 93%. So optimizing that mobile checkout is really what are going to differentiate successful campaigns from totally dismal campaigns. So we've looked at some of the landscape out there. One of the prominent companies out there that's been in the business for a couple of years is a company called Chirpify out of Washington, state of Washington. This is more of an engagement tool, not necessarily a commerce tool, but they're doing some really innovative things. You can see here there's a tweet on the screen that they're promoting, hey, get a free sample bottle of Pantene Pro V. And they're doing some lead generation. They're doing, user signups for fan membership sites like Lady Gaga, giving away samples of Oreo cookies. But this is really the first step. And the reason why this is interesting is that this is actually, they have a social component incorporated. And what I mean by that, when I get a sample, when I get an Oreo, when I participate in a survey for Lady Gaga, this is a social experience, meaning that my friends, my followers, they get to see me participating, and it creates a passive word of mouth campaign, because if I follow you and you do something cool, I want to be a part of that as well. The next integrated step is something called Tweet to Pay. This is a true hashtag commerce where anybody can list a product. They have a unique hashtag. The unique hashtag is tied to a specific product SKU. And it basically enables that consumer to complete the transaction completely inside of Twitter. There's no pop-up. There's no redirect. There's no new tab being opened. So you don't end up killing your engagement and increasing that abandonment rate. In this particular solution, because there's a pair of unique hashtags associated per product, the customer, all they have to do is tweet a pair of unique hashtags, and that transaction will be completed. In the event that there is, hold on a second here, I got a question. Kelly, go ahead and ask your question. Okay, well, if she comes back. Yeah, Kelly, hi.
Hey.
You had a question?
I think everyone was universally muted. Sorry about that. I was going to ask a question on and I totally get and agree with you on, and we've seen the same thing in terms of having a mobile experience for checking out versus a kind of desktop made to try to fit a mobile checkout. You get massively better conversion rates when you do it an actual mobile experience checkout, or when you do some of the iterative ones like you're saying, Twit to Pay, or there's a few others. But if I'm an advertiser or marketer in the DR space and I want access to the 600 million people on Twitter, I can put my own ad up using the Tweet to Pay, but I ostensibly may or may not have access to it, just through my, how many followers I have on Twitter and trying to tweet it out and make that happen.
Correct.
What's the method or mechanism or method for getting, even though it is clunkier, getting access to that 600 million is more important than potentially having a much higher conversion rate for the 50 or 1,000 or 2,000 people.
That's a fantastic question. And and I'll try and break it down in a couple steps. Obviously, Proactive is phenomenal at promoting their products, and they're actually very, very sophisticated in their social media side of their business. This is an example of a typical campaign, but obviously celebrities and endorsements and that type of stuff are perfect, because the celebrity who is promoting a product, like the George Foreman Grill, would be able to send those tweets out from their account, which may have millions of users compared to, hi, I have a corporate Twitter account with 1,000 users. But there's another angle to this, and to kind of put it in perspective, if you look at, let me take a look here. So with regards to Twitter systems and the things that we're seeing from Twitter, they only work inside the Twitterverse. So if you've only got 1,000 users, that's really not going to be effective for you. But you know what? The opposite is true. With a system like Chirpify or a system like Tweet to Pay, wherever the hashtags are, it can start initiating transactions regardless if they are a follower of you. And I'll give you an example. Every single person who has a DRTV campaign 40 years ago said, please mail us a check to this address. 20 years ago, we added a phone number. Please call us at 24/7, B-Color now. 15 years ago, we started adding website addresses because we wanted those customers to remember our website, go to a website, check out, and go through the process. This is the next iteration. So all we're doing is seeing a new channel. Scary statistics, 70% of TV viewers have a second screen, whether it's a smartphone or tablet. And so they can quickly see, and if you want to purchase this product, go to our website, call our 800 number, or just tweet this unique pair of hashtags. So when you have a campaign, it can easily be incorporated as an ancillary sales channel that will allow you in print, radio, TV, billboard, any other medium outside of the Twitterverse. So that way the hashtags are ubiquitous and they are agnostic, irregardless of the platform or channel that you're using to market. So Kelly, does that answer your question, or should I dive in deeper?
Well, I mean, it sounds like there are a combination of activities that a marketer would need to take and measure and manage those appropriately. When you do the hashtag, I mean, obviously, if I'm a consumer buyer, just simply putting hashtags into a tweet, unless I've registered and signed up and put a credit card against something, it's not going to buy anything.
Yep.
So there's an activity.
So the registration process then has to be seamless, smooth, and painless. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, and it actually creates an extra step too, because I will have had to, I'll have to register for Chirpify or register for something else. So there are
right.
a couple, and then the other one that
So the beauty of it is that there are now sophisticated tools that can accelerate and simplify the checkout process. So, anybody with a Twitter account is also going to have a Facebook account, 99.99999% of the time. So in the event that we have a new customer or new potential client trying to make a transaction happen, they have to go through a registration process. But instead of having to manually type in 17 different fields, they can use their Facebook login to enable the API. So you can pull name, address, city, state, zip, phone, email, pre-populate all that information for the consumer, or they have the option of correcting or manually typing that data in. When it comes to taking the credit card data into the actual transaction, you now have the scan card option. And it's a lot easier than typing 16 digits. It's basically, it turns your camera into an optical character recognition tool. You are able to take a scan of the credit card. It doesn't save the picture, but it scrapes the 16-digit number and the expiration date, so that way the customer doesn't have to manually enter it. So the final step is when that customer has to check out or wants to check out, he does have to enter in one field. And that's just for security purposes, which is the CVV 3-digit or 4-digit security code. So taking a 17-field manual data entry down to 1, 3, or 4-digit number is a dramatic increase in efficiency and conversions. Obviously, as these campaigns and as these products and as these services start gaining traction, more and more users start registering credit cards. In the case of Tweet to Pay, it's primarily user activations and engagement as being driven by charitable donations. So think of the ALS challenge using this type of technology, and for every customer that donates, they're now a registered customer that is ready to purchase goods, products, and services that we can directly market to them. So, Kelly, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the, there are hurdles on every one of them. It's just getting through them. It's going to be interesting. I do think it's important from an advertiser standpoint to think about the context of how these play out. One, you want access to as many potential consumers as possible, and you need to understand the hurdles, I guess, if you want to call it that, the pros and the cons of each one of these. So,
absolutely.
Does anybody else have any questions on anything so far? All right, cool.
Cool. All right. Forward and onward. So Facebook obviously is the 800-pound gorilla in terms of users and activity, but the irony is that users have basically been numbed because they have learned to ignore the advertisements on the right side. They they scroll through the advertisements within their feed. So Twitter is trying to figure out how to monetize, and interestingly enough, in their filing a report that they did for the stock market earlier this week, they were talking about heavily investing in e-commerce and technologies. So the beauty of this is that these tools will ultimately train our consumers how to be mobile shoppers. In the case of Twitter, we've really been watching them closely. They're testing buy buttons actually in the feed. If you like, if you pin, if you share things, they're going to try and serve up advertisements. If they see you going to the gym all the time, they're going to serve up advertisements for weight loss products or a Groupon.
Can I just ask, you've said Twitter a couple of times. Do you mean Facebook?
I'm sorry. Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook. But if you're checking in at the gym all the time, Facebook may put offers up like, here's a weight loss product or get a half price cross training, or maybe you should buy the P90X workout video. So the beauty of these social media platforms is that you will be able to put your advertisements instead of extremely highly targeted marketing opportunities. Unlike doing a 300 commercial spot on late night cable TV that you really don't know your demographic. Are you going to be having an 18 to 25-year-old or a plus 60 person watching the show? Ultimately, you're going to be able to get that real granular targeted data, so that way you can get your highest conversion rates possible. Because Facebook isn't in the e-commerce industry, they're having to work with third-party. Hang on 2 seconds. So that way, they're having to engage with third-party payment processors, and we've looked at their system from the standpoint that, they're trying to say, hey, we protect your privacy, we protect your security, we're not going to store your credit card, which on the surface sounds like a great idea, but the reality is after I go through the first checkout experience, I'm not going to want to have to re-enter my credit card over and over and over and over again. So So really, if you don't have that simplified checkout process, as an example, Google Wallet 3 years ago was very disruptive, but a complete failure because it wasn't agnostic and didn't facilitate every customer's need or want. So it's going to be interesting to see how Facebook is able to really maximize this opportunity, and it's probably going to take them a couple iterations, a year or two, to really fine-tune this. But inevitably, the beauty of this is that it will ultimately teach, train, and prepare our consumers to shop readily and easily from us, the marketers, promoting to them. If you're looking to get into the social media side of things, there's some pretty cool tools that are out there. There's another company called Soldseed that allows you to basically create your own Facebook store and really incorporate social media into your sales channel. So that way, as a customer purchases, they can share that sale with their friends and say, hey, I just got this terrific deal, buy it now and get free shipping. That is social commerce, and it's really important to start to play with it, because learning the metrics and learning the triggers and learning what ultimately causes a conversion or a sale to occur is going to differentiate the people who are flailing versus those that are flying high and succeeding. Another heavyweight organization, this particular company is out of Canada, but has tens of millions in VC funding behind them. Very powerful tool. Very rich in social media tools, analytics, reporting. You're able to see your customer demographic, which product is selling at which state, which time, which price point had the best conversions, A/B split testing. Very powerful tool in a very simple to use interface. So these are easy, low-cost tools that you can start implementing without having to invest substantial resources. It allows you to dip your toe into the social commerce pool and quickly be able to start getting your hands dirty and hopefully getting a competitive edge as you try and market your products into the cyberspace. So there's other platforms out there, and Instagram is huge. Pinterest is huge. Obviously, YouTube is ginormous. I ask people a trick question all the time. I say, you can easily identify the number one search engine, and that's Google. But when I ask the question, what's the number two search engine, people kind of give me the strange look and tilt their head sideways, scratching their ear. For those of you that may not know, the number two search engine is YouTube. And YouTube is a phenomenal marketer's dream in terms of being able to create engagement, in terms of being able to create loyalty and following and ultimately drive sales. Millennials today don't go to Google, they go to YouTube. And the reason being is that they don't have the time to go to the library, dust off Webster's dictionary, and look up something. If they want to figure out how to jailbreak their iPhone, they'll just watch 30 minutes of videos and figure it out on their own. And if you have any children, you will see this and can easily confirm this. So one of the things that we're really excited about is the video side of the social media experiment. Based on our own internal research, what we found is that video converts 400% better than a static image or text banner ad. And the reason being is simple. It's engagement. I as a consumer, when I look at a static web page, I'm able to quickly scan and continue on moving past the advertisement. But because in our DNA and our survival drive, we are biologically trained to spot, look, and focus at movement, which in the caveman days was potentially a saber-toothed tiger. So as a result, having video is going to increase your sales, increase your conversion, and ultimately increase the success of your campaign. So there are tools now that are coming onto the market that allow you to actually embed a video, a shopping cart, into a video. So the best example, a visual example I can give you is imagine now watching the Victoria's Secret runway show, which is on the internet every year. And as the girls traipse down the catwalk, you have little buy buttons on shoes, accessories, hats, tops, bottoms, whatever, and you can then add those products to cart, select your size, color, quantity, and actually be able to check out while the video is continuing to stream. So we've looked at some of the things that are out there, and an interactive tool, SmartSir, it has a full shopping cart. You can download and export your orders. It is a shoppable content, turns your website into a video shopping cart, for lack of a better explanation. And you have total control over that customer experience. When they're ready to check out, they hit a button, and it will then redirect them to a checkout page that shows their pending order. This is an early stage development. The idea of popping up, redirecting, or opening up another browser is going to completely kill that engagement. And it's almost like hitting somebody with a cattle prod. Oh my God, I didn't realize I was actually checking out and buying something. Conversely, you lose that engagement. So once that person redirects and they leave your video, the video stops, the music, the sound stops, and now they come back to reality. So engagement and retaining that engagement within video is really one of the critical things that have to be done in order to maximize your sales. A really powerful product that we were thoroughly enjoying is a company called Joyus. And if you were at the trade at the ERA show earlier this year, the keynote speaker was the president and CEO of Joyus. Very heavy experience in the DR space from an e-commerce side of things. And what they designed and built was an ad-serving network. And, what is very, very compelling these days are content-driven sales, blogs, articles. So they have access to thousands and thousands of online publishers, companies like People Magazine. And if you go to People Magazine and you read an article about skincare, you will see one of the advertisements from Joyus automatically start playing right next to the article that you are interested. So because the content matches the product, your engagement is through the roof. And so because of their optimization technology, they really have a way to finally get targeted traffic and give them embedded video, being able to purchase, share, and transact in a social commerce experience. So this is an example of what social commerce would look like for customers that have social media and stuff like that. This is just a video example. It was a YouTube video that we snagged. But basically, you can see all the products happening, and you're able to add these products to your cart. All of this is happening inside the video. You're not popping up. You're not redirecting. Anytime you want, you can check out. You can look at the shopping cart. You can change your color, quantity, size. But you never leave the video. You never stop seeing the motion. You never stop seeing the interactivity and the sound and everything. So your engagement is through the roof. The checkout experience is also inside the video. It's translucent. You see the video. You hear the video. You're able to check out easily within the video, whether it's YouTube, Google+, Facebook, or whatever the case may be. And of course, once the transaction is done, you can't see it here because the video ended short, but at the end of it, there is the opportunity to incentivize that customer. Thank you for your order. Please share with your friends to get free shipping, 10% off, buy one, get one free, 20% off coupon for your next order, whatever the case is. A consumer, wow, you know what, this was really fun and this was really easy and I think my friends would like it. I'm going to share it. You now turned your entire social media marketing campaign into a word-of-mouth campaign. So as a context, imagine the ALS campaign. When the ALS campaign, for those of you that know,
hey, Ray?
There was yeah.
Hey, it's Kelly. Hey, I just want to make sure we don't lose people. So I don't know how much longer you've got, but can you get like 2 or 3 more minutes, and then let's open it up for questions and interactions?
Absolutely.
We're at 10:40 now.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is great. I'm not trying to
We're
cut you
actually
off.
almost. We've only got 2 more slides, so we're almost there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool.
So the cool thing that we see, and it's happening today, is obviously Apple and their Apple Pay is going to be a massive game changer for a couple different reasons. It's going to, for the first time, enable consumers to seamlessly use their smartphones to check out at physical retail locations. That's beautiful. More importantly, it is training our consumers how to shop in a mobile fashion. So all of our shoppers are now no longer have to re-enter credit card data. They can use their biometrics. They'll be able to do one-click, no-click checkout type solutions. And this is going to really be the future for us in the DRTV space, because we finally have that impulse one-click buy opportunity that's going to be able to snag that customer at the moment of interest without breaking that engagement. So I think with all of that being said, we did get to the end of the opportunity of discussing this, opening it up for questions. If somebody's shy, feel free to send me an email or text me or whatever.
Hey, Ray, I have a question for you. This is Tommy Hogan. How you doing, Ray?
Hi, Tom.
Since I produce a lot of TV spots and I'm seeing the hardware go to smart TVs, obviously we're right at the precipice of basically the computer and the TV becoming one. Do you see this as a natural integration where people will be watching TV and not watching something on the internet, and they'll be able to purchase from that and share it as well? I would assume that answer is yes. And if so, do we have the mechanics in place to make that TV spot and embed this information in that spot?
Great question. So it's actually 2 parts. I agree with your assessment. Smart TVs are obviously entering into the home. You are now having wireless keyboards and with trackpads and all that stuff also being added. But I don't think the consumer is ready yet to actually physically start typing in their credit card onto their TV. What we will see is that they will pull up on their second screen, which is going to be their tablet, their smartphone, or whatever, and purchase those things from that physical hardware, at least in the foreseeable future. Maybe if Apple comes out with their iTV and it's this magical, mystical product that really creates this experience, then yeah, I would say that would be next logical step. With regards to the actual creating one of these videos, the technology is pretty easy. Think of it as an iMovie type experience, where you have a website. You can upload all your digital video files. You can then take a video and drag and drop buy buttons, prices, quantities, colors, SKUs, completely set up a video in probably 15 minutes. And you can set up multiple versions of the video, so you have green buttons, red buttons, left side, drop down, translucent, and that way you can actually start doing A/B split testing, because this is such cutting edge stuff. There's no metrics out there to say this is the right or best way to do it. So really, anybody who is using basic web tools to edit content, cutting clips, merging, splicing video, this is standard stuff today, and anybody with a rudimentary skill would be able to actually take a video, embed it, and be able to distribute it via Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and all the other channels that are out there. Does that answer your question, Tom?
Sorry, I had myself on mute. Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions about technology, hardware, security, implementation?
Hey, one other follow-up question. When people are texting or working on their phone while they're watching TV, there's a phrase for that, and I always forget that phrase. Do you remember what that is, Ray?
Multitasking?
No, there's some, new age, slang for it, but I can never remember what it was. Thought you might know. No worries.
It doesn't come to mind.
Hey, Ray, it's Chaz here. I was wondering if...
Hi, Chaz.
Good morning. I was wondering what your thoughts are. We've embedded a Shazam icon on some of our commercials, and when it runs on television, obviously you click on it like a QR code and it takes you right to a landing page for the product or whatever it is that
Mm-hmm.
Shazam is appearing on. I was wondering if you've had any experience with that and what your thoughts are, and maybe what more in-depth Shazam is doing similar to these other social sites.
Well, the interesting thing is that Shazam and dozens of other companies are still trying to figure out how all of this works. So this is all early stage. We are probably 2 years away until we start reaching some maturity. So ultimately, the people that are able to maximize and figure out the conversions and actually generate the sales appropriately are going to be the leaders in successful platforms. So one of the things that I first of all would recommend is that, look, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Test, try, kick the tires, see what's out there, see what's available. Most of these service providers are very inexpensive and relatively easy to get up and running. And so, just like we try on our jeans, we look at and see how they feel, how they fit. Try on a different sets of vendors. So, with that being said, in the context of that Shazam experience where the customer is going away from the video or content that is driving the engagement, that is going to be a massive hurdle to sustaining your click-through rate and your buy rates. And the reason being is, based on analysis and based on research that we've done, if you end up doing that, especially in a mobile environment, meaning tablet or smartphone, your conversion ratios drop like a rock. I, as a customer, I pull up my Facebook feed and I'm watching something or I'm going to something. I hate it when a new pop-up, a new browser starts loading and I'm on 3G and it's taking forever. I'm going to abandon it. So the critical hurdle for all of these companies is to enable that final checkout stage to happen within the medium that they're exactly in, so that way you can avoid that jarring disconnect when they're trying to load a new page. But other than that, I'll be honest, I don't know much about Shazam, so I would not be able to give you a clear and concise analysis of whether or not that's the appropriate tool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And so you understand, too, the Shazam was on the television, not on your smartphone or mobile device. So you were using your mobile device. At that moment, you saw the television commercial.
Got it.
You capture the Shazam, it would take you on your device, your mobile device or laptop or whatever it was, to that landing page. And we've seen increased conversions.
Cool.
So I just wanted to be clear on how it was being used versus...
Okay, so in that sense, it's almost like if we were to put up QR codes onto the TV and snap a picture of it and get that transaction started on our smart device.
Correct.
Except a little more elegant.
Correct.
I like it.
So you'd still need the Shazam application on your smartphone to do it. So it's gonna depend on the demo that you're targeting, because Shazam's got a very specific demo in terms of age and type of product and everything else.
Right.
Where that would be a likely already downloaded app for a consumer to be able to use it.
Correct.
And Kelly, you put something up there that I think in the chat that I want to make sure everybody is aware of. Kelly brought to my attention that Facebook is getting kind of scary, almost as scary as Google. Explain that a little bit further, Kelly. What were your thoughts on that?
By scary, I mean in terms of the ability to reach somebody anywhere they are digitally. Facebook bought Atlas, which is one of the largest DSPs that gives them display reach, so banner advertisement. And they'll be able to, when you think about programmatic buying or omni-channel marketing, it's reaching that consumer and being able to tell them the story across multiple segmentations or wherever they happen to be going. Facebook's reach just with Facebook is huge. When you add in that they now own Atlas that they bought from Microsoft, it gives them the ability to continue to market to people outside of when they're inside of the Facebook application. Yeah. And they also bought WhatsApp, which gives them SMS reach to, I don't even remember how big WhatsApp is, but it's huge on an international standpoint.
Yeah, it's huge, 500 million plus. users.
So when I say scary, I think about concentrated power to be able to market, especially when Facebook calls itself a direct marketing channel. Over the last 24 months, it's changed its tune.
You know, and that's something that we need to be cognizant of is the fact that consumers are getting very averse to big data. Big data in their mind equals Big Brother. And some consumers like having targeted ads because, you know, if I am a single young male, the last thing I want to see is commercials for Pampers. But on the flip side, if I'm getting, you know, 2-for-1 tacos at the local Mexican joint down the street, then obviously I'm going to be a lot more receptive. So targeting of ads is actually getting consumers more interested in looking at advertisements versus turning them away. So that's a good sign. But at the same time, you know, this big data concept is really turning off a lot of people, especially when you have Facebook really kind of tripping Facebook and Google, for that matter, tripping because they've changed their terms of service, they've changed their privacy policy, they've changed, you know, their security measures at dozens of times, and it takes a rocket scientist to try and figure out how to get your privacy settings right on Facebook. You know, and those are things that are going to actually, I think, need to be addressed, especially in the commerce arena. You know, going back to the Twitter commerce module that they're creating, and the same thing, I guess, with Facebook. You know, I as a consumer, do I really want Facebook knowing what I purchased and where? Or would I be more comfortable working with an independent, third-party, agnostic solution that's, you know, not going to share my data? So those are, you know, things that will be a part of the decision-making process when a consumer decides or not whether or not they're going to make a purchase. So good insight.
Yeah, the scary, and there's two kind of pieces to the scary. I was looking at it more from an advertiser standpoint of having concentrated power in kind of one marketing platform, so they can at some point in time charge whatever they want for us to market. From the consumer standpoint, I don't think anybody under about 30 or 35 years old is scared at all and doesn't even have the same definition of privacy that those of us that are over 35 do. And most of the information data that we've seen is like it's all in the open. There's no concern at all that somebody. And in fact, I want you to know as much about me as possible, so I don't have to work very hard to find things. Show me what you need.
Yeah, you're bringing up a really interesting shift that we are seeing in the consumer demographic. The millennial generation is going to be unlike any other sales target market segment that we've contended with. They are either your best friend or your worst enemy. And what I mean by that is that if they don't have a good experience with you as a consumer, whether it's the quality of the product, timeliness of the shipping, the promptness of customer service, they will flame you. And so these social media tools really are, as I mentioned, a double-edged sword, because if you don't do it right, you can really damage yourself in the social media realm. You know, and Chad on chat brings up, you know, it's all about, you know, test before you go big. You know, have it on a share it with your friends, your local people that who are going to be honest and give you feedback whether or not it was a terrific experience or it completely sucked. So that way, when you do go to market, you have a flawless, seamless, enjoyable experience that other people will be more likely to share and create that word of mouth experience. I keep talking about word of mouth because that's the key. If you can get your customers sharing about your product, your sales will literally explode. We talked earlier about conversion ratios at the checkout page as being 50%. If you take that same example of a customer coming to a checkout page, if that customer came from word of mouth marketing, your conversion rate jumps from 50% to 70%. So word of mouth marketing is the key. Social media is the engine that drives it.
Hey Ray, I want to see if there's anybody else who has any more questions, and then
please
shut it down. Does anybody have any questions that's still on?
Hi, this is Curtis from Swipe. I just want to thank you, Ray, and you did a great job.
Oh, Curtis, thank you so much. I really appreciate the compliment.
All right, yeah, Ray, excellent. Oh, Sorry, go ahead.
Well, this has been recorded, and the PowerPoint will be sent out, and it's also going to be hopefully made available to all the ERA members. We just want to keep educating everybody as much as possible. Us being the digital and innovative side of the committee, it's really incumbent on us to share, and hold their hands and say, look, it's not that scary. Come join this, try this, give it a shot. And as the leaders start seeing engagement and sales happen, everybody else will follow.
All right.